We choose to go to the moon. Not because they are easy.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
But because they are hard.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Hi, welcome to We Choose to Go to Kennedy, the official podcast of Kennedy Space Center Visitor and Complex, where we talk all things past, present, and future of American spaceflight. I'm your host, Jenna.
And I'm Russell. We're part of the communications team here at the Visitor Complex. And this September 2025.
September already.
And it is. It's happening. Autumn is right around the corner as we record this. And for us at the Visitor Complex, Jenna, as you know, that means a lot of activities are going on. The weather is starting to cool, at least for Florida. We hope it'll stay that way. But there's a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening between now and the end of the year. Definitely.
We have tons of new offers coming out. We have some launches, lots of fun events. Taste of Space is coming up, and that's going to be fun-filled with, Marsini, which we're going to talk a little bit about later. And yeah, it's going to be a busy season.
Yeah, so the holidays are coming up for everybody. So as you mentioned, Jenna, we have, Taste of Space is coming up. We have a special Halloween event that we can kind of, just put out there as a hint that we're going to do later in October. And then obviously when we get into, the Thanksgiving season, we have Holidays in Space, a couple other surprises that we'll have on our website throughout the next 3 months, but a lot going on. And so one of the things that we were thinking about as we try to keep up with all the activity is how do we help our visitors know and get the most out of their visits when they come here? And there's a couple of ways we can do that, right?
Definitely. So we're going to have a fun-packed season. There's so much to do. You spent your time getting here, but we don't want it to be too much of a hassle to figure out what you want to do with all these activities. So we've just released on our website a couple of itineraries. You can pick, the ages of your children, how long you want to spend, and it'll kind of build out a custom itinerary for you to spend your day.
See, that's the key. You said custom, and this is what I like about this. When you go to the website, you'll be able to find it to be on the home page, the front page there. But you put in the information. Are you a space aficionado? Or are you a novice? How much time do you have to spend here? We've grown, as we mentioned in previous podcasts, over the last couple of months, where we have a new attraction at LC 39. So there's a chance that you could actually have like a 2-day stay here. Some people, they may want to only stay a day or even like half a day. And so if you're with a family, maybe it's you by yourself or you and your friends, you can put your information in and it spits out, the best way to use the time that you do have to spend with us. And we found it to be really helpful to get people engaged and energized about their visit. So that's a huge way that people can kind of take ownership of their visit and get the most out of it.
Definitely. This is a great option for people who love things written down, but for people like me, you like to talk to a real person, we have the people for you. Today we have a really exciting guest from the information desk. She customizes itineraries for you. She analyzes your family, your interests, your children, what they like, what they don't like, and she makes the perfect schedule for you. And I'd love to, get started with that interview and see how we can make the trip even more special for our guests.
Let's do it.
Well, Livia, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jenna. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Of course. Well, Livia, you're the first face that people see when they come to the information desk. I'm sure you get lots of questions from people. Tell us a little bit about what you do and exactly how you form these itineraries and how you help our guests out on a day-to-day basis.
All right. So my first job as information agent is to first welcome the guest, right? A lot of them are here. Some of them did some work on the internet and, went to our website. Some of them just saw the sign on the side of the road and said, oh, that might be a cool place to go. Let's go there. So our first job is to welcome them, make them feel, comfortable and at home. My personal goal is I want them to be happy. So I'm going to do everything that is going to be convenient for them. It's still going to give them an opportunity to see the most if they have 1 day or 2 days or an annual pass. And then to introduce them to NASA, because we are representatives of NASA, right? We all work for NASA. We are here to tell NASA's story. So my first, I would say my first responsibility as an information agent is to tell them what we have, what we offer. And some of them want us to guide them by the hand, and some of them just, want a map and a schedule, I always make sure to tell them the things that I don't want them to miss. So I want them to know when the last bus is, or the last presentation, or something really cool happening just that day, so they can, fully enjoy.
So you said two things there that I thought were interesting. Is one, that obviously the bus tour, we're known for that. We're
Right.
kind of famous for that.
Yeah.
And so that a lot of times that is one of the first things that we try to encourage our guests to do,
Yep.
because they can kind of knock that out and make sure they don't kind of feel like they have to be rushed to go on that
Right.
tour. But then the other thing you mentioned is day to day, we have different things that are happening, whether it's the astronaut of the day, which is always changing, or special events that are kind of just one-offs that
Right.
they may miss if they're not looking for that.
Yep.
So you have to keep up to date on what is actually happening day in, day out. It's not the same every day.
Well, Russ, I'll tell you what, with the coming of internet, it has become a lot easier for us to stay updated to what's going on.
Okay.
At Kennedy Space Center, we are a daily operation, so things change. Sometimes because there's a wide load on the road and the bus gets delayed. Sometimes our special events that we promote. Sometimes different astronauts that come, different talks that are not part of our daily schedule. So I always like to tell them if there's something special that they should not miss, I want them to have the opportunity to at least make their own choice. I want to see it, I don't want to see it, but I'm going to tell you about it.
Sure.
So yeah, it's always important. The bus tour, obviously, that's the best way to get a grasp of what we do here, or what NASA does here, right? Because we are the only place in the whole entire United States that launches human beings into space.
Right.
No place else.
Yeah, I've heard that. We do
You've
that
heard
here.
that?
We
Just-
do that
just
here. Only
right
here.
right,
You gotta-
just down the road.
Yeah, you're doing it probably tomorrow. There's probably doing one tomorrow.
Open your blinds and you'll see the launch pads, right?
100%.
Almost.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, not only are you juggling the day-to-day operations, everything's changing, everything's shifting, but you see a variety of families.
Yes.
It's like all ages of kids, all different types of people. How do you accommodate that schedule and make it fit just for the family?
So it's important to first learn about the guest, right? So my first question is, what do you guys think you'd be interested, right? Because some kids, they might just want to play in the playground all day. But then you have the parents that are the ones that brought the kids here. The parents also have an interest of being here. So it's a fine line to not bore the kids with highly technical things that they're going to be seeing all day, but also allow the parents to see what they want to see, right? So it's very important to recognize your audience. So I always try to recognize my audience, my families, kids that might want to be you want to be an astronaut? Oh, well, let's see what you can do today. Well, today you can go up on the shuttle, you can see the space shuttle, you can ride the simulator, but we also have an astronaut that might tell you what it's like to be an astronaut. So, it's a fine line. You have to recognize. After a couple of years, it's easy.
So you try to make each guest feel special.
Yes.
Because they have, many of them, they come from around the country, around the world, and this is maybe the only day that they'll ever be here.
Yes.
We hope they come back,
Yes.
but they may travel a great distance, so you
Yes.
want to make it special. So it sounds like you look at them and you talk to them and get to know them,
Yeah.
and you're not just pushing out like, hey, this is what you need to do next.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, because, like you say, we get asked a lot at the information counter. Oh, there's a launch tomorrow. Is it worth it? I'll say, listen, I'll be honest with you. You don't want to know if it's worth or not if this is your only opportunity. You can only tell if it's worth it once you've seen it. But if this is the only day that you're going to be here, you can't come back. This is your life dream, and you made it here.
It's worth it.
And we scheduled.
Yes.
No, we don't schedule them ourselves. But if there is a rocket launch scheduled the day you come, it's definitely worth it. I mean, it's a chance of a lifetime. So you have to kind of like balance those, but understand that for a lot of them, they've dreamed their whole life to be here, and this is the only time they can be here. And our jobs is to make it possible that they can see the most.
Yeah, well, as someone who works here and will have a rocket launch happen in the middle of a meeting during the day, it's still
Yeah.
something that I can't miss.
Absolutely.
So going back to the schedules, you say after a couple years you get your practice and you're used to it, but it's really been 28 years. I want to talk a little bit.
28, yes.
Well, congratulations. I
Thank
want to talk
you.
a little bit about how you first got here and kind of what inspired you to join us.
Well, it was almost like the accidental tourist, right? I've always known of NASA. It was just down the road from me. You see, when I came to this country, the space shuttles were in full flash. They were flying, right? As fast as we could launch them. But my idea of NASA was always like, oh, it's for, engineers and, technical. My background was in education and psychology. They don't need teachers over there. I had no idea. Through word of mouth, I found that, oh, they need people that speak other languages. You speak Portuguese and Spanish. You should apply. And I did. And it was like, I was hired on the spot. It was like, you speak Portuguese and Spanish? Yes, you're hired, And so it has been an adventure. I loved every minute. I knew very little about space. I knew very little about what it takes at the time to launch a space shuttle. And when I started 28 years ago was, surprise, surprise, way before internet existed. So, hard copies and books was what we had. And we had a whole library behind the information counter. And I was trained by the best, and they would just say, okay, what you do is if you're not sure, you get the book, and you research, and you read it. And, they already had all the books tagged if people asked about launch, about landing, about the Apollo program. And so the more I learned, the more I fell in love, the more I recognized how unique and how difficult it is to do what they do. I normally tell folks there are 2 million moving pieces and parts on a rocket that needs to work perfectly at the right time, at that one fraction of a second where the clock, counts down to 0 to launch. So I honestly have never met anyone that has visited here and said, oh, I don't like that place. I've met many that has said, oh, I had no idea what you guys had, and I fell in love. It's a wonderful place. So my 28 years has been, just falling in love all over again.
That's not too bad, right?
No,
enjoy where you are for that long time.
To enjoy where you work and to work at a cool place where, our magic is real. It's, very special.
Yeah, we say discover something real. I mean,
yes.
It's not just, a sentence.
Right.
It's actually kind
It's
of what
reality.
you can do here. Right.
Yeah.
So do you ever have, when you see somebody, usually in the morning, probably most of our guests get here in the morning, you work with them, you send them on their way, and then they're leaving for the day. Do they ever poke their heads in and say, oh, and give you kind of like a recap of their day?
Yes,
What's that
I've
like?
had many, and look, goosebumps, real goosebumps. Because just like recently, in the last couple of weeks, I had a couple of different families that they came to me because right now my position is to either sell tickets or exchange their vouchers. So I see them right first thing at 10 o'clock, and then I close the place over at the information counter. And so this one particular family from last week, they came at 10 o'clock in the morning. They only had a day pass. They came to me like at the last minute, like at 5 something. They wanted to upgrade their tickets. They upgraded their tickets. And then I saw them again the next day because they're local in Florida, but they were staying locally here, spending the night close to us. And they came back, and I was like, oh, you guys came back again. And, it was cute because they were matching shirts. And I was like, well, now you guys need to get NASA matching shirts. Because when you come with your kids, because they're planning to bring the children, they weren't so sure if they should upgrade because, should we bring the kids? We really want to bring the kids. But yes, I get them. I get to meet them. The position that I have right now is really special because sometimes I will tell them. I'll say, hey, I'm closing over there at the information counter. Come see me at the end of the day. Tell me how you liked it. I had a couple of ladies that had some physical challenges, and we were able to tell them how to do it, what to do it, when to do it. And they came back and they said, oh, we want to upgrade for a second day because we were here early, but we didn't have time to see everything. We want to see everything. And, and again, recognizing the audience and helping them is the best part. And then being able to get that feedback at the end of the day, that's a win.
That's a
Man, if you go home, if you go home and I'm driving home and I was like, wow, they really liked it. That was pretty cool.
We're proud of it.
It's awesome. For me, it's the best part.
Okay, so real quick, the information counter, we've been talking about it. So for anybody who hasn't been here, it's easy to find, right?
Yes.
You're walking in, you're not even through security yet.
Right.
And it's right to the left. It says information.
Can't miss it.
Can't miss it. So you go in there and there's like, what, 3 or 4
There's
people?
about 3 or 4 of us there between information agents and guest service agents. And we provide several services. That's where they can get wheelchairs and strollers and scooters. We can give them the information early in the day about what's happening here during the day. Sure enough, we've been launching so frequently, there's always that question, Our escort told us about a rocket launch or a guide or somebody at the IMAX. So they always want to know where's the best place to see. The best place to see is here. So check with our schedule, check with the website, because this is the closest that they can be, right?
Legally, yes.
Legally,
I think
yes.
that's correct.
Yes. But the best part I tell people is you go home and you tell your neighbors and your family that you saw a launch from Kennedy Space Center when they were launching from Kennedy Space Center. Can't top that.
Can't top that.
Can't top
Definitely.
that.
Well, your crew over at the information counter, you guys are just, it's a teamwork effort.
Yes.
You all work together, you make sure that you kind of build out this perfect schedule for people. I want to talk a little bit about your relationships over there and kind of the family you've built over the past few years.
You can't have a department working well if you're not working together. So the most important part, I think, for the information counter, I think that's why folks stay at the information counter, is because there's such a camaraderie of helping each other, of you're busy with that, I'll get that, or I'll help this guest, So it works really good.
Well, that's something that's so admirable to me, is that not only have you built your own family here over the years, but that I feel like that and, raising your family here has given you a special edge when it comes to helping out the people we work with.
Yep.
I think that's such an awesome story. I'd love to talk more about what it was like raising your kids here and your grandkids.
Well, I think there was the best place I could have gotten a job to work, be able to work, build a career, and raise my kids. Because when I started here, my youngest one was starting kindergarten, so it's perfect. I didn't have to worry too much about daycare and childcare. My schedule, I was able to have a very flexible schedule. For me, it worked. At the time, it was what I needed to be able to do both, to work and still raise my kids and participate in school activities. And my kids grew up in Kennedy Space Center. This was their playground. This was their background. If I had to work on the weekend, they were here on the playground for a couple of hours at the end of the day, just walking around. And they came to understand what it's like. I think full term was them coming here because mommy is working, but daddy can take me to the playground, to turn full turn 11 years later and actually get a job here and actually work here. So, it was funny thinking about it, because they will walk everywhere and they will go, "Oh, you're Livia's daughter, huh? Oh, yeah, so you're Livia's daughter." And a lot of the people that are from back then, they still ask me, "Oh, how your daughter doing?" How is, so-and-so, what is she doing with, but they grew up here. This was their playground. They didn't, as much as I try to get them to work for NASA, they follow other paths, but, my youngest one, has an aerospace degree. She's just working something else right now, but this is their playground. And now the grandkids, right? The grandkids love coming. They love coming.
The next generation.
The next generation. It's never ending.
It's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
So the next time you come out to visit us at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, make sure you stop on the left at the information building, go to the information counter, and say hello to Livia and the
Yep.
crew,
Yep.
and they'll help make sure you have the perfect itinerary to make your experience a memorable one.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. My pleasure. It was awesome. Come see us. I always tell everybody, I said, listen, I'm 28 years here. You can't get rid of me. They can't get rid of me. I'll still be here. I'll still be
Exactly.
here.
And she might give you an autograph if you're lucky.
Oh my goodness.
I might.
Well, thank you again,
Thanks again.
Livia.
Well, thank you.
All right, Jenna, so now we have two ways that people can kind of plan their trip to make sure they get the most out of it. We have the itineraries that you can kind of fill out your information online, and that will spit out like the to-dos and the must-dos. And then we also have our humans, Olivia and the team, that can kind of go over that itinerary with you if you bring it with you, or they can kind of create their own to kind of make sure that you don't miss any kind of special events that are happening that day that you actually happen to be at the visitor complex.
Well, Russ, something I'm going to make sure not to miss on my itinerary this October is going to be Marsini.
Yeah, it's coming up fast. October 3rd, so the very start of the month, Marsini. It's our annual event now. We're excited about it. And I have, lucky for you,
Thank you.
and lucky for you, I have all the information right here. So let's do it. So, Taste of Space, Marsini Shake-Off Experience. Again, October 3rd, it's a Friday night, 6 p.m. here at Visitor Complex in Gateway. We recommend 21 and older. Guests will be able to enjoy some beautiful appetizers and also drinks from prepared specially for the event from 6 local restaurants and bars. And that's one of the things that I think is kind of interesting about it, is that these are kind of new creations. These are things that are inspired by space and by the unknown. And so that's kind of always been kind of the fun part about it. What do you think you're going to be looking forward to, knowing that this will be your first experience here?
Yeah, this is my first year. I remember even prior to working here, I would see the ads everywhere, and I thought it was the coolest thing. Most importantly, I think it's, for me, the presentation. You know, the way that they kind of tie in aspects of space and what interests them and really puts it into one crafted cocktail. We've had some pretty strong competitors in the last couple of years, and we have some pretty strong ones this year, and I'm just really excited to see what they pull together.
Yeah, the people that have won in years past the awards, they're back trying to defend titles, and so we're excited to have them back and their new creations. And it's going to be a fun evening, and that's what it's designed to be, to see the visitor complex in kind of a different light and kind of have a unique experience that you can only have that night. So we're also going to have special guest, veteran astronaut, NASA astronaut, Mike Foreman, who's been with us on our previous podcast. So if you're a podcast listener, you'll know his name and know his voice. So we're excited to welcome Mike back to the visitor complex. And then a couple of other celebrity judges that will not give that away right now, but we're excited to have them helping judge the contest as well. And the people who are coming, the guests, will be able to judge as well, right, Jenna?
Yeah, your celebrities in our eyes as well. It's a People's Choice Award, so you get to vote on what your favorite cocktail is and crown the winner of this year's Marsini.
So if you want to be part of the event on October 3rd, just go to our website, kennedyspacecenter.com. Look for events. You can look at the information, and we hope to see you on Friday, October 3rd at 6 p.m.
Yeah, and that's only the start of our fall season. We have tons of fun events I'm sure we will plug later. We have some Halloween ones coming up. We have some holidays and space events, but that'll be for the next episode. We'll be very excited to give you a sneak peek then.
We're teasing them. Yes, we'll see you soon with that information and much more. Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
We choose to go to the moon. Not because they are easy,
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
but because they are hard.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.